Hi, I'm Tommy. I am from Canada originally. I've been living on Gili Trawangan for 5 years, and it was diving and the life on a tropical island that brought us here.
Can you tell us a little bit about your diving history?
Diving history. I did my first discovery scuba dive in 1998. My dad had been a diver, and it was something I was always interested in. And I was in Mexico, and they were offering free pool dives if we signed up for a DSD. And I did it, and it was just an amazing first dive. We were going out to some little islands off Puerto Vallarta, and on the way to the islands, there were 2 blue whales in the water, and they were playing. We stopped the boat for about 10 minutes, and one of the whales was just slapping its tail over and over in the water. And when they finally left, we went to the dive site. We dropped down to about 4 or 5 meters. We got to the bottom. The dive instructor looked at me and just did this, said shh, and pointed at his ear to listen, and you could hear the whales. And that was my first time scuba diving, my first time underwater, and that was it. I heard the whales, and we never saw them on the dive, but that was, gave me goosebumps, and that was it. I was a diver after that.
Yeah, you almost have to be with that kind of first experience. Would you recommend diving as a main activity during your vacation, and why?
Absolutely. I think once you start diving, and if you like it, which pretty much everyone does, you start changing the way you vacation. That castle in Scotland might not be at the top of your list anymore, but that wreck off of Gili Trawangan is going to probably be high on your list. Once my wife and I started diving, we did it on vacation together. I talked her into doing another discovery scuba dive with me a few years later. She wasn't entirely sure she wanted to do it, but when we finished the first dive, her first question was, when do we get to do this again? And then after that, every vacation was planned around scuba diving. We ended up getting certified on our honeymoon. And here we are 8 years later, and we're dive professionals and living the diving lifestyle.
So how did that transition work, like from just doing vacation stuff to moving now to living on the island, to teaching, to doing all that kind of stuff, to diving every day?
Yeah, I think it was one of the draws of moving here. We had decided we wanted to live on a tropical island, to do our own business that was not dive related. But when we realized what the diving community was like here and the opportunity to do that, that really helped sway our decision to move here. And when we did move here, we didn't have any plan to become dive professionals. But after being here for a couple weeks, we realized that what a great way to spend our spare time. And before we ever started our business, we had nothing but spare time. So being able to learn as dive professionals, change the way we dive, and then to get to work as dive professionals, it's
such a great way. Any piece of advice you would give to someone who's going to plan their first dive vacation? Maybe where to go, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, well, I would say try to get certified before you go, if you can. Yeah. Do your theory online. Do your theory online. If you're starting out as a diver, yeah, definitely do your theory online, and then do your diving with the shop, because you're going to meet a lot of people, and you're going to probably become friends for life, and it's just going to make your vacation that much richer for sure. But I did find that doing the theory online saved me a lot of that time on my vacation, not having to do the book reading.
You can do it on the plane.
Yeah.
If you could imagine the perfect week of diving for you, what would that be?
Ooh. That would definitely be, it'd be between 2 places right now. I've never done Raja Ampat, and I've heard it's the best on the planet. I would absolutely love to do it, the chance to just do a live aboard, being on a boat for a week. and just diving sites that maybe people have never dove before, or just getting to dive with the giant animals that are out there. I think second choice, if that wasn't feasible, would be to go back to Sipadan. in Malaysia. We did it about 6 years ago. It was amazing. We were not dive professionals then, probably only had about 30 or 40 dives under our belt at the time. And I think what I've learned between then and now, I think it was just that much better of an experience for all the stuff that I missed from just lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
Just the animals and just the ability to dive better in such a great place and extend my dives. Yeah.
Anything else you want to share for stories or experiences from along the way, or?
Yeah, I think just the biggest thing for me was my wife, when I asked her to do this with me, was not into it. She was freaked out by the water and the fish. And to go from that to a few years later to becoming a dive professional, it just says how much the water can change you. You know, the first few times I did it, I felt like I'd opened the pages of a Dr. Seuss book and climbed inside, just because of how crazy everything looked down there.
Yeah.
And the difference of standing on the water or snorkeling from the surface in the water to actually being down there and being part of that ecosystem, it's just a world of difference. And I think that was the big thing, watching my wife, who was a little afraid of it, to wanting to do nothing but, was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Maybe you could give advice for people who are scared. There's a lot of those guys out there.
Try it. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. And it's no race. You're going to get in the pool with a qualified instructor. They're going to go at it until you're comfortable. And if you're not, nothing to lose. You tried it. You tried it in the pool. It's fine. But again, it's not a race. That instructor has all day long to work with you. It's the instructor's goal to make sure that you enjoy yourself, and they'll do their best to do that. So try it.
Right.
Yeah, there'll be no regrets.
All right. Well, thanks for doing this quick little interview with us, Tommy. We love hearing your experiences, and we'll see you next time.
Get in the water.